Pratt. I was born on the Ides of March, 1885. In 1920, I went out to Pecos, Texas. That's on the Pecos River, about 100 miles southeast from McKittrick Canyon. I was looking for oil. We came to a weekend. Judge Drain said, if you wouldn't mind 100 miles over rough country with no roads, I'll show you the most beautiful spot in Texas. He took us to McKittrick Canyon, and I decided it was the most beautiful spot I had ever seen. I was in love with it right now. It was in the midst of a desert, arid country, cactus and desert plants. It was in the face of a great mountain range, Guadalupe Mountains. The canyon just sawed a cross-section through the front of that mountain range. That front is 40 miles long, extends from Carlsbad out to Guadalupe Peak. Stands up 3,000 feet above the surrounding terrain. Here's McKittrick Canyon, a cold, bold stream of water comes flowing out of that canyon. The moment it gets to the outlet of the front, walls rising on either side, it sinks. And you don't see a sign of that out on the desert. But in the canyon, the wonderful bold stream of cold, clear water. The water cut that canyon. What makes it beautiful is that water is charged with calcium carbonate, lime. And as it flows, it bubbles over these rocks and aerated thoroughly, it evaporates. And as it evaporates, it precipitates that lime. And that lime veneers all the bed of that stream. The gravel is inside, but it's called a travertine, which is calcium carbonate coming out of solution. The travertine formed a dam across the whole width of that shallow, 20 feet wide stream, and dammed up with a travertine dam all the way across it. Now, it wasn't a linear wall, it was little arcs, making little dams, one after the other. There were those pools, dammed up by the travertine dam going to the shore on either side, and verdure coming right down to ferns. And you did it in the middle of the desert, it's just inconceivably beautiful. The desert plants stop at the mouth of the canyon. And in the canyon, you never guess it's maples. Maples. And if you go there in the autumn, the maples are beautiful reds and yellows and tremendous colors. One of the most beautiful trees that lines the canyon is what the natives told us was manzanita, little apples. And it has a beautiful white blossom, it has waxy leaves that hold through the winter. The blossom gives a little red berry, which is the apple. We sent some of them up to the Forestry Bureau in Santa Fe. And they said, this is not manzanita, this is a madronia. And it's a rainforest tree. We built this stone cabin in 1930. We built that at the junction of North McKittrick and South McKittrick. That's about 2 miles up from the mouth of the canyon. A beautiful pool there at that time. What makes the canyon geologically important is the Capitan Barrier Reef. The shores of Central America are coral reefs. The Capitan Barrier Reef is formed of these reef-building creatures, but they're not corals. They formed in Permian times. In other words, they formed 245 to 250 million years ago. And it is formed of algae, not coral, algae, a grass-like, filamentous, kelp-like creature. In Permian time, the shallow inland sea extended from western Kansas continuously and widening a little bit down into old Mexico. And the shores of that sea were muddy. So, Barrier Reef, looking for a place to grow, the reef creatures, they moved out some places 30 miles from shore, and there they found a clean bottom, and they attached themselves to it and grew up. While they were growing up, the bottom was sinking. Finally, that reef got to be 1,800 to 2,000 feet high. The bottom sinking continuously for 20 million years. Finally, it stopped at the end of the Permian. The crust of the earth was rising. The sea flowed off back into the ocean. So that the moment it began to rise, the reef died at the end of the Permian time. But its skeleton was there. Finally, it stood above sea level. McKittrick Canyon put the gash through Capitan Barrier Reef. I was fascinated with the beauty of McKittrick Canyon. And the geology, of course, fascinates me very, very much. McKittrick Canyon had the geology and it also had a nice place to live.